All right. We are live on every platform except TikTok
What
because I
is
got
up,
banned on.
everybody?
Oh man, so got banned. So fun news. I got if you guys hopefully I sent out alerts on my new TikTok channel, but I'm not live on there anymore because I posted my buys. I posted all my buys on one thread and they called it spam and they
Yo,
blocked me.
you know what's crazy? Every time I post screenshots of my portfolio, they only get like 10 views. You know why they get 10 views? Because TikTok shadow bans me. So whenever you post a video on TikTok and you see that it's not doing anything, it's because you were shadow banned. I
Yep.
was shadow banned and I can't even post my portfolio. It's like TikTok knows that I'm posting a screenshot of my portfolio. And for some reason, they don't want that on the platform. But I mean,
Yeah.
hey, you got 16-year-old girls shaking their ass. So I mean, like, they pick
Yeah.
and choose what they want, you know?
Yep. They like to they're pushing P over there. They're pushing P, certainly.
Yep.
So we're probably not going to be live on TikTok for a while. So if any of them are wondering where I'm at, we are still here on YouTube. We're actually gaining quite a bit of subscribers on YouTube. The TikTok channel just have to be rebuilt. It took a year and they took it away. So we'll start rebuilding it again.
You said you were
But
temporarily banned, though, huh?
I was, and then I was permanently banned. I messaged them. And they said, "No, you're permanently banned." And they sent me the video, and I said, "That's my portfolio." And I was live with the person, like the rep on the line, I guess customer service rep, and he was like, "That's your portfolio. Yeah, this is my actual portfolio. These are actual screenshots of my portfolio." And outside of me showing my bank account, it was actual like from Uphold saying out of my account with my last four of my account, and it's it showed $100,000 being bought total for the weekend. And I was
What
like,
did they say about that?
they said, well, you're spamming and scamming. And so I wasn't even selling a course. I was just showing you what I was doing, like I was proving to you. But whatever, I'll just keep doing it. We'll just stay true to YouTube because YouTube's been going steadily increasing over the past. So hopefully, we can get more. We'll just keep growing and do what we got to do. Just a small hump for it.
The internet always censors stuff that's true and helpful, but they never censor stuff that's destructive and degenerate. It's crazy. Like, I see degenerate stuff all over TikTok, bro, but yet you post a screenshot of how much money you got. Oh, it's a problem.
Yep. Well, my only thought is that it looks like they don't want people to learn how to do this type of stuff, and not really grandstanding, but it's like
No, they don't.
it was pretty truthful on how what we were doing and how we are gaining it. But it's like there's someone on there literally pitching scam courses, and they have like 100 accounts and they're not blocked. So it is what it is. We just have to.
It's crazy.
So, but moving on, welcome in everybody. We are live on all platforms except TikTok, but Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So give us a like and subscribe because, as always, this video is sponsored by you guys. So give us a like and subscribe. Hopefully, we can get more people in here. And please share the video as we get more people in. So, going over some basics, talking about what's going on with the markets. We had there. Everyone's calling it a crash. It's not really a crash. We just had a sell off.
No.
People taking profits, a 5% correction, which I really wouldn't even call a
A,
correction,
a
but it was just
crash is 50 to 75%. That's a
yeah,
crash.
yeah, exactly. This is just people were selling off and cashing out some profits. Although I'm still in very much profit on Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, um, Polkadot. I'm in profit, but even though my average price is still like $11, because I've been buying a lot since I first started, so it's been just been going
What,
down.
Polkadot?
Yeah, I got in when it was $25 and been buying every time it went down. So my average is still pretty high because I bought most of it beginning of 2022 when it was a little higher.
Yeah, I bought most of mine in 2021, and then my average cost on Coinbase for Polkadot says $6. It's
Mhm.
literally six flat.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I'm in profit with the staking. I just got to keep buying in while we're in this low range.
Yeah.
But we have Bitcoin down about 4.5%, Ethereum down about 5.5%. We have the market cap down to 1.56 trillion, about 4.5% down. Trading volumes up 78%, or sorry, 61% up to 78 billion. And Bitcoin dominance is at 52% and Ethereum's at 17%. We still have the greed and fear index in extreme greed at 80. So it's showing that people are still like actively buying this stuff. So it's not really like we're having a downward turn just yet. It's just a sell off. Like let me pull up Bitcoin. I think that'd be the best way just to see how things actually went. Oh, there it is. No. I don't know why I keep getting wrapped Bitcoin. All right, here we go. So we'll do like 4 hours. And you can see here it's just people cashing out profits right there on Bitcoin, which would make sense, especially if you were in at like 20 if you were in at like 20,000, you'd be cashing out a little bit right now.
Yeah, that's all people are trying to do. Like overall, it's to hold to the bull run. But a lot of people, they're trying to play it smart, because they already made a 3x on Bitcoin since 16,000. And it's like they're pretty much just trying to cash out, use all that profit to buy more Bitcoin lower. That's all they're doing. But if you want to hold into the bull run, that's even smarter in my opinion too. But there's people that are just trying to get more Bitcoin. That's all they're trying to do.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They're just trying to get more
They
Bitcoin at a
use
better
these pumps
price.
to. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go
I said
ahead.
they use these pumps just to get more Bitcoin and Ethereum or whatever altcoin they're in. That's all. That's the way I see it. A lot of people see corrections as negative or like, oh, it's manipulated. No, I don't think so. There's obviously some manipulation in every market, but like I said, people are just trying to get more Bitcoin.
Yeah, it was a little bit of market manipulation, but like everybody just kind of sold off simultaneously. And like I said, I told people to be careful with Solana. I think what Solana, let me pull up Solana. I think Solana got hit the worst.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. It was almost at 100.
Yeah, almost a 8.5% drop. So it was at 74 and dropped to 68 down there. So we're back down to the 60 range. Kind of spiked a little bit, but it's going back down. So it dropped about 10% down on its price. And I kept saying, it's the venture capitalists were going to try to pump it up. I think they're trying to get it up to 100 and then try to cash out some type of earnings off of it. But we also had just everything was just dumping because it's Christmas. Profits need to be taken. People wanted to, I guess, cash out a little bit of the profits that they earned in the market and just kind of sit on the sidelines. I thought about doing that, but then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to hold because, cashing out for like the 10% or 20% profits that I have isn't really worth it for me in the long run.
No, it's not
Better
for
just
me
to
either. I
wait
only have about 20
or
something
just buy.
thousand.
Yeah, and just being transparent because like I also bought more dot along with you. Just bought another not much. I'm only doing like 5 grand right now. So and I'm just adding another bit of dot to what I have. But since I use Uphold, the fees are killing me, but I get faster transaction speeds on Uphold. So I also think it's because not many people use Uphold.
Yeah.
Not as much as compared to everyone else.
XRP Army uses it the most out of anybody.
Yeah, I'm sure they were making bank just off of XRP fees because
Oh yeah.
they were easily taking off like 1 to 2% fees off of my purchases, and the sell side too. So, but speaking of Polkadot, it's still holding strong, even though it's down 7.5% on the day, it's just kind of crazy. But this is now a good time to really get in on dot. Still at 668, it's still a good time. I mean, they actually added a whole bunch of videos to their YouTube page, so it's definitely something you want to go watching out. But I saw this article here. Is it worth investing in Polkadot in 2024? And I saw this one this morning. So I just kind of want to see about it. They go into briefly about Polkadot, all this stuff, history and price performance, all time highs. Don't really want to. This is really what it is. Even though this lady, and shout out to Ezra Icy, the unique pseudonym. Um, but even though it is popular as an innovative project, Polkadot has been quiet this year. New development and network improvements announced to have been absent for a long time now in 2023, resulting in people wondering whether it's worth it or not to invest. And I think
I
that's what
actually
a lot of
disagree.
people for.
Just
I
because
disagree.
Polkadot's kilt has been used a lot, and they've actually been implementing digital ID. They've been doing a lot in the shadows, especially same thing with Chainlink. Chainlink. It's like they post a lot of videos. They post a lot of like network upgrades. Polkadot 2.0 is around the corner. We're still on Polkadot 1.0.
Yeah, but yeah, my thing is a lot of the analysts forgot like just because they're silent doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like there's just no reason to announce it, but they've been having great success in building their platform, slowly growing, following their vision and mission, and bringing more developers to the platform and expanding what the platform is capable of doing, and actually bringing more interoperability as well as of more speed to the network as well.
Polkadot doesn't raise any concerns when it comes to the SEC for me. It just doesn't, especially since it's a governance. Dot is used for governance and for staking and parachains. There's just uses to the Dot token. That's why I have Dot over Atom. There's more uses for the Dot token than the Atom token, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, even though the Atom token has held its value a little better, but it's only because like I think the Kava token is hoarding the Atom token as well, and that's kind of help like tokens like that are on their network are hoarding the native token to kind of prop up the value. Whereas with Polkadot, you do need a lot of Polkadot to become a validator, but you also have to actively do work as a validator.
I
Like you
could
can't.
become a validator right now if I wanted to.
Yeah, but let me see. It's not like, oh, I just put my money in, and as long as I keep my money in, I'm a validator. I don't have to do anything
No,
else with the network. Polkadot, you have to do some work for it, otherwise
you
it
have to
kicks
have
you out.
coding experience.
Yeah, you have to have that experience. So that's what I like about Polkadot too, is that barrier keeps degenerate people who have a lot of money, who don't know anything about the project, and they're able to have like a direct access and control of the project. Whereas you have to be able to know what's going on
You
with
know, on
coding and
Cosmos,
technology.
on Cosmos, I saw a lot of degenerate activity. I saw a lot of people making proposals, asking for money. I mean, that can happen on Polkadot too, but I just saw a lot of degenerate shit on Cosmos. It was mainly over this summer. Like, the beginning of 2023 and this summer, like, I started to just, like, kind of be iffy on Cosmos just because there was just stuff that I just didn't like about it.
Oh yeah, and not January, July is when I sold all my dot or not
Same.
Atom, and because I just didn't see the value in it, I saw more value in dot.
I traded all my Atom for Quant, fun fact, and I'm actually up more on the Atom to Quant trade than I would be just holding Atom, you know?
Yeah, exactly. All right, let me just minus. There we go. Yeah, I'd say I'm definitely. We're Cody and I aren't shillers of that. We just believe in it. Like we're not paid sponsors or anything. We just
Oh,
believe
no.
in it. And like I said, Cody's the one that brought me into it, and we watched. Oh god, we must have watched at least like 24 hours of videos straight just on Polkadot, on understanding it and learning about it. But let me go back over here because Cody, did you hear a lot of the talk about XRP like surging this month?
No, I haven't. But there's a lot of XRP. It's like it's a good project. XRP can do amazing things, but the price action of XRP has just been the worst out of most in the market. The price action has just been terrible in the past 5 years. You know, even after the lawsuit news, we got to 90 cents. You know, in the bull run in 2021, we got to $1.80. So even after the lawsuit price action was only half of the high in the 2021 bull run. And then the 2021 bull run was half of what we saw in the 2017 bull run. So it's like the price action has just been terrible. And a lot of XRP Army people, don't want to agree with that.
Yeah, that is a little tough for a lot of them to really
Now, can XRP surge past
overcome.
all-time high in its next bull run? Definitely, especially now since it's got legal clarity. But as of right now, until we see that, XRP has done terribly on price.
Oh yeah, it's well in comparison to the market, it's been pretty stagnant, which for me, I've been saying is pretty good because it's a good opportunity to dollar cost average in at a steady price. So like if it's staying at 61, 62, 64 cents, you could dollar cost average in. However, with the correction Cody and I are anticipating, I do see XRP going back down to the 40s or 30s, and then will probably rise up to 350, $4 during the bull run, which would be amazing. You'll get back all your money, get back all, what the all-time high was. Yeah, there's a lot of talk that it was robbed because Jeb was selling off every time XRP started to rally and the suppression from the SEC. But it's hard for a token like this to gain value when its sole purpose is to have a stable value and give instant stable transactions. Like you can't have that be. I don't think it's going to ever hit like $20,000 XRP. I think this morning I saw the most degenerate post about it where it was 20. Someone was saying $20,000 XRP by the end of next year. It's like that's just impossible. There's not enough value yet pumped into the token to even hit that, and we need a lot of miraculous factors. Like you need a lot of golden swan events to hit for that to happen. But these are also the same people that are predicting $500,000, $1 million Bitcoin by the end of next year as well. So. But other than that, it's still in my portfolio. I'm not selling it at all. I thought about taking profits, but right now it's at 10% of my portfolio. So I can't argue. I can't really argue either way. Other than that, I'm just holding it, waiting for it to hit that $4 or $5 range, and that's probably when I'm going to cash out. Cash out of it. Cody, are you still there? I think
Yes, I am. Sorry, I had it muted.
No worries. No worries. I just will make sure it wasn't on my end there.
Yeah.
So, oh man, it goes a lot slower when you don't have all the people on TikTok constantly asking for all those looking up everything.
Hey, we'll rebuild. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers on TikTok, but then again, what if I get to 1,000 followers and I get hit with the ban hammer?
Yeah,
It's a scary thing to think about just because I post about crypto.
Well, it's also funny because there's talks of it. They're probably going to massively restrict TikTok or like just for US access. It's probably eventually going to get banned out of the US because it has a lot of disruptive factors and there is
Yes.
some key manipulation levels in there. Now
There,
I
there
get
is
it.
no such thing.
No, go ahead, Cody.
There is no such thing as true freedom of speech. Like, yep, there is freedom of speech. It's like they're handing out little chitlins, you know. It's like it's little bits and pieces of freedom of speech. But it's like freedom of speech as a true whole, there's no such thing. No such thing.
Yeah, well, you have freedom of speech, but you also are free to suffer the consequences of said speech. That's what people don't understand. Like you can talk all day about freedom of speech, but at the same time, like you can't yell fire in a crowded room and expect not to get penalized for it
Well,
if there is
yeah.
no fire. So I mean, but at the same time, TikTok is its own company, is its own platform, just like YouTube, Rumble, Twitter. Like you have to abide by their rules. And to be honest, I think YouTube let a lot slide for a lot of people. I just think people got too carried away with it, because you do need to be careful as to what you say. Even
Well,
like if you're a well-known analyst, like let's just say you're a well-known trader, like uh, Ackerman, right? If he says anything, he could significantly change markets just by one word. Warren Buffett could say
my
something
thing
and
is,
change market trajectory. Go ahead, Cody. I'm sorry.
if you're pushing an agenda, like for example, like I Speed, I show Speed as a popular streamer. He showed his junk. He showed his whole junk, on the YouTube platform, and there was 20,000 kids watching. Most of the people who watch I Show Speed, they're children. They're not grown men, right? And he never got the ban hammer. He suffered no consequences or penalties from that. And what I'm seeing more and more from these streamers is they're pushing the rainbow agenda. They're pushing men. They're showing little bits and pieces. Like, for example, I Show Speed accidentally, quote unquote, accidentally showing his junk. And they're pushing this agenda for young men to start like exploring in the different avenues that they shouldn't be exploring, and they're pushing this agenda. Like any YouTuber that's signed to major contracts, like for example, Kick, like Aiden Ross, $100 million deal with Kick. Any of these people that are signed with Kick and they are pushing an agenda, they're not gonna really get consequences on YouTube and stuff. I mean, look at Cosnet. He was showing the whole 7-day prison stream, making prison look like a slumber party. None of that's okay. They're pushing agendas and there's no consequence. But somebody like me and you talking about not falling for agendas and building wealth and staying true to yourself and never selling your soul. YouTube is more likely to ban that content than the rainbow agenda content.
Well, yes, that is true as well. I mean, well, one, I have to say this, and for all you guys that are loyal and watch us, we do get, sometimes we get almost a few hundred of you guys in here. Sometimes is it's boring to talk about how to actually build wealth because most people you want the flashy success that you see a lot of people promote, but in reality, the best way to make money is to do exactly how Warren Buffett did, and Warren Buffett didn't really make he made his first million at 32 and then made really his first 100 million at 60, and he just skyrocketed since then. But it's just steady, consistent investing, and unfortunately that's boring. No one wants to hear that. People want to hear how can I turn my $100 into $1 million. It's like that that's about has the same chances of winning the lottery.
Yeah,
Although
I posted this on my Instagram story this
Mhm.
morning, but I was saying that, your early 20s are overhyped. Like a lot of people, and I'm not to say that 20s are bad. You can still have fun and travel and do stuff in your 20s, right? But for a lot of men like me, who are building, who don't have, who wasn't born into money, they're building their wealth. Your 20s are going to be boring. I mean, like that's why I look forward to my 30. I'm not trying to rush life, But at the same time, I look forward to my 30s because I know for a fact in my 30s, I'll be able to do a lot more things that I couldn't do in my 20s, like travel. I'll have a lot more money because regardless,
Mhm.
college degree or not, career or not, you have more established things in your 30s than you do in your 20s. In your 20s, you're building it from the mud. It's not, there's nothing fun about that. There's nothing fun about it. I'm still doing it. I'm building my wealth. Am I complaining? No, I'm just saying that my 20s are not going to be my favorable time. You have all these people talking about, oh, your 20s, they're so fun. And no, I don't agree with that. Now, for women, that's your peak looks. Of course, it's going to be more fun for you as a woman because when you're beautiful, you have men with money. You can access men with money. Like my mom's friend, like her daughters all married wealthy men, and they never knew built wealth themselves. They all married wealthy men. And it's like for a woman, it's easier to have that funner time, but for men like me who didn't come from money, you got to build. It's less fun of a time in your 20s.
No, you're absolutely right. Unfortunately, if you're a pretty woman, all you got to, and you don't want to have part in your life anymore, all you can do is just take a tent and set up life in some other rich guy's life. Unfortunately, a lot of young guys, that's not going to happen. Even wealthy women won't ever look down to a young man that has nothing. Whereas, like, you can have a guy myself at 40 years old, once everything's right in your life, you can go back down and take a look at someone who's in their like 20, 25, in their mid to late 20s and say, hey, I want to start looking for a serious relationship out of that. So,
I
unfortunately,
got a
that's just
perfect
what it is.
I got a perfect
Yeah.
example of that. I know a girl who's a year younger than me. She's 22. I'm 23. She told me one time that she makes more money than most men, which she's not lying. She owns a salon and she owns a hair and salon place. She makes good money. She does well for herself. And she does make more money than the average man. But she never would take me seriously. Like she said all the time that I'm hot, I'm attractive. Like, I'm 6'4". Like I fit everything physically in her book. She told me all the time that she thought I was attractive and sexy. But she would never take me seriously because I'm not her level. Despite her being physically attracted to me, she would not take me seriously because I'm not on her level. Women don't even want guys that are on her level. They want above. And since she makes $100,000 to $200,000 a year, she's been single for the past 3 years I've known her. Been single for that long because she's having that hard time finding guys who are doing better than her, and she's not going to find a guy who makes double or net. Like to find a guy that I'm talking about, she makes $200,000 a year around that, right? She's got to
Mhm.
find a guy like $400,000 a year if she wants, and that's not most men. That's very few men. And guys who make that much money, they're not going to settle down for her or necessarily. They don't. Usually, they're so hyper focused and they use sex and dates as leisure.
Yeah, and as a way to relieve stress and stuff
Yeah,
like, or just change the pace in life. But yeah, it's hard because like less than 3% of men between 20 and 40 make $400,000 or more. Less than 5% make 100,000 or more. So it's like usually if you're making that type of money, it's later on in your career. And that's what I said. Like a 22-year-old guy is just not gonna be able to make that money. Which kind of
no,
brings into like my next topic. It's like the best thing, if you guys watching, the best thing you guys can do is don't invest in any of the traditional like the entertainment businesses and everything are going to crumble. What's going to make money in the future is literally going to be pet care products, self-help products, not the guru stuff, but like self-care, self-medicine, the holistic medicines, the all these other stuff, the skincare treatments, the cosmetic treatments and stuff like that. That's what's going to make a lot of money. And unfortunately, because it's like it's like hypergamy was taken hostage and then put into overdrive, and it's like now that a lot of women have more equal opportunity, because a lot of people say back in the day, my mom's from back in the day, and she was the first woman in for roadway at the time to be in management and the trucking industry. The very first woman. Like you don't have that now. Now a lot of these women, you're not the first. You're most likely like the 500,000th woman that came through that door that's in that position, that's entering into these positions. And these women, because hypergamy always looks for someone better, because if you take away everything else, if we go back to, without all the civilization, women had to look for something, look for a guy that say, hey, can you hunt? Can you protect? Can you do all this stuff? Okay, then great. We can work together as a team to produce viable kids for the next generation. Now, we don't have a lot of those threats anymore, but that hypergamy is still there, and it kicks in when it's like, well, I'm providing this for myself, so you need to provide more for me. And it also kind of comes back to the me culture, the me culture. And it's just like my brother he's a short guy, he's 5'8", but he's in great shape, has a lot of money, and he gets overlooked by a lot of women just because, he does not upfront show that, oh, he has a lot of money. But, even as a programmer, he's making $200,000 a year. And it's like anyone that's on his level, women, they're looking for that guy. They're looking for him to make even more, which is just astronomically hard. I mean, just to get to $100,000 a year is phenomenal. Most people will make $100,000 a year somewhere between 55 and 65. They're kind of peak earning. So that's why they say while you're going through 20 to 40, do constantly put money into the market, because your compound interest is going to earn a lot. And then when you're getting close to the end of your career, you're going to be making a ton of money, and you're supposed to add that into your retirement fund. And you could retire at 65 and you still have a lot of energy. I don't know what people are saying like your life is over at 65, because at 68, the guy that founded KFC lived another 40 years after that. I think he lived to 102 or something like that. So it's like, because the one thing I hate, because the red pillars are also saying like your life is over if you didn't do anything until 40. If you did nothing with your life and you're 45, it's like that's not necessarily true, because there's been a lot of people that failed and hit like 60, and we use their products today. You never know when success will strike. The thing is though, you just got to keep going a little further than where you want to go. But kind of coming back to that, to like what Cody was talking about with hypergamy, is like hypergamy is driving the markets in a very weird way. Believe it or not, like it's actually forcing a lot of young guys to go to like Fresh and Fit, Andrew Tate, all these things, all these other places. And what's going to happen is now they're saying, well, how can I make more money? How can I get this wealthy? How can I do it? They're going to start taking their money and they're going to start investing in real estate, start investing in crypto, start investing in stocks. And since more and more and more younger men are becoming more and more isolated, they're looking for more and more ways to make money, because they believe money will be able to transcend their help them transcend their social status. And that's where I'm saying, like, you guys don't understand how powerful all that is, because there's like for Gen Zers, there's 14 million Gen Z men who feel like they are ostracized from the dating market. So let's just put that again. There's 14 million men in the United States that are in their 20s, between 20 and 28, that feel like they are ostracized from the dating world. So what's going to happen is all that money that they're earning, and even I have to pull up a bigger calculator, because like it's because their average earnings is actually around 58,000. If you times that by 14 million, you're looking at $812 billion being just pumped into markets year after year after year until they get to where they want to be. So you times that by 10, we're already looking at $8 trillion that these guys are going to be earning and spending and spreading over 10 years. How's that going to affect? Because they feel like they're isolated. So they're no longer going to participate in the normal circumstances. So it's $8.1 trillion that's no longer going to all the stuff that we normally would spend on dates, such as, the restaurants, the movie theaters, or even like the weird stuff like like the jewelers, K jewelers, the the K jewelers, the what was it, the flower shops, all that stuff. It's all they're all dwindling because now most flowers you only get them for eulogies, funerals, or like special events. They don't even make money off of weddings anymore. I know Cody just stepped out here for a minute. He'll probably be back on in just a second. But that's one of the things I always keep saying. Like, for some reason, everyone's just overlooking the fact that the dynamics, the dynamics between men and women of millennials and Gen Zers is going to greatly affect how the market's going to go. Hey there, Cody. Welcome back.
Sorry, I was going on another app while you were talking, and every time I go on another app with volume, it cuts this volume out even when I go back on the stream, so I have to leave and come
Oh,
back.
okay. No worries. Man, got a fly in here. It's bothering me. But like I was saying, like the dating market is going to have a significant pull because you got to think like these guys spend on average. I think it's like these young guys spend on average like $500 billion a year on what we normally spend on dating is now going to be put towards something else. Shout out to Crypto Dream. What's up? Glad to have you in here.
Man,
And
you missed all the juicy stuff.
yeah, right.
I
So
wish we had more people because we've been on fire this morning. We've been talking about some facts.
oh yeah, it's crazy how we're not without TikTok. It seems a little quieter. We're also what we're saying. We also can't say on TikTok either because
No,
we get banned
they
instantly.
don't like the truth.
Yeah, and
Truth hurts.
the truth really does hurt. Well, we appreciate that. And then for those who do watch the replays, they're on YouTube as well as Rumble too. So you can give us some shout and support there because we are live on all channels, including Rumble as well. Except for TikTok because I recently got banned off of TikTok. Although my new one is Simply Investing, or I think that's simply investing, or Simply Community 60 or something like that. I'm gonna have to
Oh, I
change
saw
the
your
name.
new one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change the name in a little bit there, but I'm probably just gonna post longer clips and stuff there, not really do the short things. Because what I was doing was just posting when I bought, what I sold, snapshots of my portfolio, snapshots of the market, and apparently that was scammy. So where I'll have to find a way to regrow that to 2,000, which is crazy. I was getting so close to getting there, but oh well, is what it is. I just have to take it for what it is. I also think some of the people that didn't like me on there kept reporting my posts and everything. So it will be what it will be. But back to our current topic, like hypergamy is the hypergamous nature is definitely going to affect it. However, what people don't understand is if women are making that much, they are still effectively broke, even if you're at 200,000, because the average woman between 20 and 35 right now, or no, I should say really between 20 and 40, is they have an average of 70 to $80,000 in student loan debt, an average car loan of 50,000, and about 40 to 60,000 of consumer debt. That's credit card debt. So yeah, shout out to Crypto Gene. Yeah, people people who mass report should get banned because but it that's just that's just human nature. If they don't like you, they try to take you down. But what was I saying? So these women, even though you're making like, because I think it was like, one lady I used to date, she makes about 150,000 a year, but she has like 110,000 in student loan debt. She drives an $80,000 car. She doesn't own a house. She's renting for like 3,500 a month in a nice high end area. And then on top of that, she has like a bunch of credit card. I think he has like 20K in credit card debt. So you're looking at your monthly. So you got 3,500 plus 1,500 for your car plus 1,800 for your student loan payment. and then you probably got about 750 in credit card payments. So that's $7,500, and if you're making 150,000 divided by 26 times 0.62 times 2, you're effectively broke. She's negative $400 every month. And it's like that's not going to that type of economy can only last until there's a crisis. And even she doesn't understand it. She's one stone throw away from being in the poorhouse because you're putting on your debt. See, if you're making $150,000 a year, if you have a lucky enough to get that, what you should do is just buy a used car for $10,000. Have no payments. Pay off all your student debts as quickly as humanly possible. Live with your parents. Find a place for $500 a month. Act like you're poor. People won't even know what you do. If you act like you're poor, you can dress nice. You can dress professionally and nicely on Walmart and JCPenney budget. Nobody's going to know the difference, and you're gonna bank a lot of money. And then when it's time to buy a house, you abscond out of the $500 apartment, and you go into a nice $200,000-$300,000 house. But unfortunately, right now, women account for 83 point something percent of spending, which also brings me to another point. The average dollar stays in a man's and between this is between the ages of 18 to 40, stays in their hands about 32 days. So it's like a lot of young men get money and that only goes out for bills. Whereas women, it stays an average of 42.6 hours. Meaning from the time they get paid, all the money's gone. As soon as money hits the account, it's all gone. It's all gone. And it's crazy because that type of economy is just gonna it's gonna burst. And I think that's what's gonna happen right now because times are getting tougher. Money isn't free anymore. It's not cheap. It's expensive to get money. It's hard to get money. You have to work hard for it. People are hodling their earnings more, saving it, paying off debts and things like that. I see OnlyFans crashing. I do see the OF fans crashing. I do see um a lot of those payment platforms
I know,
crashing. Oh, go ahead, Cody.
I know three girls. Oh, I'm sorry. I just had to step in on this one. I know three girls who did OnlyFans for a long time. They're in my age range. It's not like they're in their 30s and 40s. These girls are in their young 20s, like me. They are not doing OnlyFans. The OnlyFans link is gone, and their page is gone. But it's funny because for the guys who actually bought their content, OnlyFans, and a lot of women don't realize this. When you buy a piece of content on OnlyFans, even if they delete their account, you still have that content. So if she wants to move on, and act like she's got a new existence, all those guys who bought her content on OnlyFans, even if their account is deleted, they still have access to the content. It'll just say deleted account,
Yeah.
which is crazy. A lot of women don't realize this when they do OnlyFans. Like they can do OnlyFans for a couple years and then they think, "Oh, I'll delete my account and move to a different state." Yeah, you go
Yep.
ahead and do that. But all the men who bought your stuff, they still have it forever.
Yeah, people don't. A lot of these women don't understand when you put those pictures up or content or videos, and someone's paying for it. They now have rights of ownership to that content. That's how the law works. So if they want to repost it, as long as they're not earning off of yours, they could post it for free. They could do whatever they want with it. As long as they're not reselling it,
Yeah.
they can repost it,
So
share it with anybody, anywho. So you got to understand that the law favors the consumer. You have now commoditized that portion of your life when you really shouldn't have, but you did. So now it's subject to consumer-based laws, and you're not going to win that in court. If you like all these videos that they did on there, it's theirs. It's no difference than back in the day, 30 years ago. If you did a sex scene they and someone has a VHS of it
they
and
bought it off
now
off a
putting it back
videotape.
up. I'm sorry, Cody. I'm sorry, Cody, I didn't
And I
hear you
said,
there.
and they bought it on a videotape.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
So now, yeah. So now, if
Okay.
they want to cop it in and show the world, there's nothing you can do. They own it. They own the content. They own the rights to share it however they please because they bought it and they paid their money. So now they expect to have an ownership of the product. It's the same thing. I can't buy a car like I can't. You can't go to a dealership, buy a car, and then the dealership gets mad that you drove the car. Like you, that's not how it works. That's the same thing. When you, if you're gonna sell pictures and content, just like I can't get mad that someone takes the content that we're creating, putting it on YouTube, and does it for whatever the purpose. I really can't get upset at that. I really can't because they're paying you to be a customer of Google and YouTube, so they can do whatever the hell they want with it if they want to. That's up
These
to them.
women are posting sex tapes. These women are posting sex tapes on OnlyFans, and then they decide, you know what, I don't want to do OnlyFans anymore. And then the people that bought it, or the guy who she did the sex tape with, let's just say she marries somebody else, or let's just say she finds somebody else later in life. He and all the person who bought it, they have access to that, and they could expose that later on. It's just they don't think about that shit. When women think about OnlyFans, they only see cash dollar signs. That's it. They only see money signs. They don't
And
think
what's
of how
mhm.
it could come back later on.
And what's funny is that I still think OF is going to switch over to rated G content and dump all those 18 plus content creators because they're starting to realize there's more money trying to do like Blues Clues than to try to sell to lonely men because a parent will like parents of middle class families, they'll pay $500 a month so their kid can do whatever they want on like go to this site, talk to the creators, actors of Blues Clues, have special content for that. Oh, they'll pay whatever they want for that. People don't understand like when I was growing up, my parents were middle class, and like when we did well for school, they took us and said, "Okay, hey, let's here you go. Let's go take you over to Toys R Us. We'd go get 2 Game Gears, stuff like that." Back then, it was like $2,000-3,000 worth. So if parents are willing to do that for their kids then, they are still willing to do it for them now. That's what I don't think people understand. And if they're willing to give their kid a $1,500 iPad, they are definitely willing to give their kids access to access to yeah, pretty much something like that because that platform's going to be huge when it comes through. I just have a I just have a feeling that it's going to be like that. Just my opinion with it. I know Cody jumped out of here with that, but the dating market is definitely going to change how the investing market's going to go, and I think it's going to change it for the positive because it's like women are pushing men to be isolated, and enough of those isolated men are saying, "Well, screw it, I'm just going to invest in my future, start making money, and stop spending it out." So we're probably going to see consumerism come to an end in the next decade, if not in the next couple of years, because women have been consuming for so long; they consume a majority of it, and they're already net zero broke. So for the most, we're like one event away from it switching because if men don't spend a lot and women only do the spending and most women go bankrupt and they can no longer spend, then we're going to have a scenario where the consumerism economy is going to crash, and
Yeah.
that might happen in 2030. That might be what we're headed to in 2030. People just don't understand it. Like this whole red pill feminism stuff is way bigger than what people think it is. And people only seeing it for the sex part, and that's a fallacy that needs to change. Like if you're just viewing it because of relationships and sex, then you're not seeing what actually is happening. What actually is happening is we're going to have a total switch of the economy, total loss of the economy. Because let me tell you something, most of the time for moving, you will never ever move a young, good-looking woman. You'll never move them. Why? They either have a boyfriend, husband, fiance, or there's always some guy that's willing to help her for free, move her from out of her apartment to another apartment or whatever, load her U-Haul or whatever, or her truck, whatever's going on, right? Now, men aren't even doing that anymore. They're like, oh, well, you got it. Good luck with your move, and they walk off, right? Like I've been my number one client for apartment moves that are under for clients that are 25 and under, 98% of them are women, young women, and never before. And it's not like they were bad looking women. Some of them were wildly out of shape. I'll just wildly out of shape. If I'm saying you're out of shape, then there's something bad because I'm 350 and still trying to lose weight down there, and you tipping the scales on me. That's a problem. But what I'm saying is that I don't move young men. Like between really men between I'd say 20 and 35, we don't move them. Unless if they're have a really busy job or they own a business, they'll hire it out. But most of the times they just grab a buddy and do it themselves and things like that. I did that. I never hired movers until, I got too busy that I needed help with getting to have movers do it for me. The crazy thing though is that people don't understand is that th- these women are buying way too, and a lot of them, they are single. They are single as a Pringle, and a lot of them, when they hit my age, we're starting to move single women in together with other single women. I think, rest in peace to Kevin Samuels, and shout out to that because they still have that video posted up there. But they're saying a lot of them were becoming like sister wives. That they're older women moving in with other non-related women, and they're not lesbian, they're not homosexual, they're heterosexual, but they're living together because they missed out on the opportunities to be where they should be, and now they have to find a way to survive. And I think that's what's going to happen. That he just called it like a decade too early. I think he just called it a decade too early. Now that we're getting closer, the numbers are adding up because I think what was it? 81% of the student debt is held by women, and it's at like right now like 15%, which is a 15% compounded interest rate on a loan is impossible to pay off. So I think Kevin Samuels was right. He just called it way too early.
He was right about a lot of things. I do believe that Kevin Samuels, he kind of sold the sex slash hookup culture just a little bit, but for the most part, on majority of what he said, he was right about a lot of shit, and that's why a lot of people didn't like him because, like I said, the truth hurts. He did sell the concept of sex a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's like he was right about a lot of shit.
Yeah, he was right about he was right about what about the modern woman facing winter. I think when he said that, it was just like he was like 10 years too early. Now we're starting to get to the point where it's fine, like the numbers financially, like we can predict where that's going, and you're sitting there seeing like, oh my god, this is happening. Here it is, but nobody's paying attention to it. It's all, well, I'll just find a guy to provide. I'll just find that guy, but those guys are disappearing. I believe it or not, uh, they're slowly, 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 slowly disappearing, and I don't think people understand that. The times to where you'll have that that like the simp in the wins or that culture, it's gone. There's no guy waiting at the end anymore. There's just unfortunately there's just you just got you, yourself, and I. And a lot of young men in Cody's age, where they should be, if you went back to my age, most of us were dating, we were spending money, we were working, and we were saving and investing, but we were still spending money, going out on dates, doing all this stuff. And now these guys don't even do that. it's either you're the player and you just say, "Hey, come over. I'm not spending any money on you," or they're the other guy and you're saying, "Hey, why am I spending money when you're not even that interested in me? I'm just a placeholder for the time period of the day to keep you occupied for like 60 minutes before you go off and deal with some other guy. So why not just take the money that I would spend on that and start investing it?" And that's what men have been doing. Because believe it or not, the average single young guy has somewhere about between 2,000 and 5,000 worth of investments. Now we're going to go through the wave of where they're investing in bullshit things, but eventually, what's going to happen is they are going to start they're going to start investing wisely and they're going to start making money. And what's going to happen is young men are going to start outpacing women again, and then it's going to be patriarchy bad. And unfortunately, there's going to be collapse and economic reset. That's what's going to happen. And unfortunately, a lot of women are going to realize like these guys you isolated for so long, they just said, well, now I don't need you. Like when women say, oh, I don't need no man, it doesn't really affect the economy. But when men start saying, I don't need women, it kind of sucks. Plus, a lot of people don't understand is someone out there's a company out in Japan that's coming up with a realistic, um, basically a realistic AI driven bot. So like it's basically a sex bot that has realistic skin, realistic everything, and then on top of that, the artificial womb. We've already successfully grown a cow with it. So now the next step is to grow a monkey, and if it can do that, I'm telling you guys, someone's going to put women. This company's going to put women out of business. Once it's able to go public and invest in, I would highly recommend investing in it. But they already started using the artificial womb to grow animals in it. So it actually takes you're actually making animals no longer with the burden of that. And I think there was an article saying it was like a victory for feminism, but it wasn't. All it did was make women obsolete because now, because I, a lot of people don't understand. Like when you go down that route, it's easier out of stem cells to create a zygote than it is to create a sperm cell. And you, man, I don't know what to say because when I read that article, I was like, that's the end of humanity as we know it. It's the end of relationships. It's the end of everybody. And really, what's going to happen is guys are going to say, why spend all this time trying to build a relationship with a woman when I can spend $100,000 get this bot with the artificial womb, all this other great stuff, and have it look exactly how I want to, and it's never going to change, and it's programmed always to like me no matter what. So there you go. There it is. That's the end. That's the end. And women only have themselves to thank for that. It's just kind of funny because, like, not only does the artificial womb have wide ranges of agricultural needs, like that actually makes sense agriculturally. However, it's small enough. I think right now it's about the size of a big executive desk. If you guys know what that size is, but it's about that size. And all we have to do is shrink it down to a size of an actual womb. And they even have it to where they have a mimicked uterus sac that can expand and contract so it can be reused. I'm like, God, it's over. The only thing you need to do is just make it smaller. And once it's able to fit in a bot, it's over. It's over. Game over. And this technology has been in the works for 10 years. And I kept telling people like we were already trying to mimic amniotic fluid and the womb status to help regrow limbs. It was the next step was doing the whole womb, and the next step was factory farming. And once factory farming figured it out, then all that mattered is just shrinking it down. I don't know, Cody, if you caught any of that, but do you have any thoughts on what I just said?
Oh, I'm listening. I'm listening carefully. I just sometimes like I have a tendency to like jump in with my thoughts because like so I have a hard time holding thoughts because I usually forget about it by the time when it's my turn to talk. So now I've
No
just been kind of
worries.
just like listening.
No worries. Because I know that that's a pretty unique topic, but it's funny because No red pillars talking about it. No feminists are talking about it. No news stations talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. And
I
it's
haven't
like,
heard much
what do you
about it.
yeah, it's like no one's heard about it. The only time it's ever been nationally broadcasted was on the Discovery Channel and Mythbusters when they said, how long could you feasibly and technologically keep a human being alive? They had like that little like 2 hour special, and they went through where they said, hey, we can mimic the, create a small artificial womb to regrow limbs and, regrow organs and stuff like that. But there's already a company that actually did artificial wombs for livestock such as cows, sheep, and pigs. And now all you gotta do is make the technology smaller, and you can start growing humans with it. And if you can grow humans with it, and you can make um, zygotes out of stem cells, what feasibly economic reason at that point, once that is created, do you really need a woman for? And I don't think people are understanding like because it's part of agriculture, no one's paying attention to it. But you got to understand, like, for me when I was growing up, the sex dolls and stuff like that, they looked they looked really fake, really ridiculous, really horrendous, right? Now, like, what's that one guy? There was like one red pill streamer that bought one of those lifelike ones. I forget his name, but it to me it looks ridiculously creepy because I'm not used to seeing such realistic mannequins or anything like that. It's just really really off-putting to me. But to a lot of younger people who they never saw what how ridiculous it was back in the day, to them that's normal. And now we're going to introduce, a bionic capable bot, and then introduce an artificial womb into it. That's over. And for you guys don't know what bionic means, it means self-sustaining and self-cleaning. It's that's the end. That's the end game. And yeah, there'll be women that say, "Well, we'll have one too." Yeah, but you'll have one, but that's not what women want. They want an actual guy, an actual person. A lot of these guys can settle for an artificially generated personality. And I don't know how that's going to affect. I know that's going to affect the economy as a whole because, well, one, a lot of these guys are going to go into debt for monthly payments for that instead of buying a house, buying all this other stuff. It actually makes a house buying even easier because if you're financing that damn bot, then now you got a credit history and you can buy a house easier. I don't know. To me, it looks scary. It looks like we're in some dystopian '80s movie where it's the end of life as we know it, and everything's just going to drastically change. And maybe it's because I'm 40 and I feel like I feel like I'm becoming antiquated as I grow older. But it's I'm looking at this and I'm just saying, man, that's going to change everything, the markets, everything what you invest in. There won't even be enough people. There won't even be enough people anymore. So how's this consumerism market going to sustain itself? And if you turn 18 and can go buy that bot, then what's the point of you pursuing any of the other things other than to pay for that and get your house? So, because like the bot's not going to complain that you don't have a fancy car. It's not going to complain that you're buying groceries at Aldi's and not at Whole Foods. It's not complaining that it's not going out enough. Like it doesn't have that capability. So I'm really like that's really scary thing to happen, and it's coming up so quickly, and everything is developing so quickly. It's no longer like 100 years out. It's now like 5-10 years out. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are my age. They're gonna be like, "But I thought I was gonna be empowered, but now I'm totally useless." And that's you don't want a human being to feel useless because that's where the dark the dark aspects of our personality start to come through, or of human nature start to come through. So if they thought these incels were bad, just wait till you have women who are no longer acknowledged by society. Just wait till that happens. Just wait till that happens. I'm going to be there and I'm going to say, I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. As long as Google remains in business, which we never know, because you never know when a business could go out of business. But as long as this video's up, you'll see. Well, he said it was going to happen. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. And it won't be a problem that's addressed until women start suffering what they're labeling as incel suffering, because no one's, I don't think anyone really is involuntarily celibate unless if you had some catastrophic accident or just had a weird birth defect that caused it. But for 99.9999% of us, everything you do is a choice. It's a choice. I don't care what anyone says. It's a choice. So you can choose to live that life or you can choose to change it. It's up to you. You're given free will by God for a damn reason. I don't know. I think I grandstanded enough on that topic, because it's coming. I don't think anyone is even talking about it, but it's coming. It's coming. And it's just crazy, crazy to see how that's going to affect. I don't know, dude. We don't have too much other topics to talk about. I'm just not gonna lie. Those, especially those who from my old TikTok page watching, that will watch the replay if you watch it fully. The little break from all the random coins is a little nice. So yeah, trying to give an honest opinion about a coin that looks a little scammy. But hey, Cody, did you have anything else you want? Did you have anything you wanted to talk about before we call this one?
Not
Call
really,
this.
to be honest.
Yeah, because like my only thoughts is
I have a lot of stuff on my
no. Go ahead, Cody.
I have a lot of stuff on my mind that's not related to the stream. I don't like, I have my days to where I feel indestructible and I feel great. Today's just one of those days to where I feel like I'm on a low. I have borderline personality disorder. My highs are really high and my lows are really low. So it's like today's one of those lows. So I don't.
No worries.
Especially, talking about kind of like that dystopian stuff. It's like, I genuinely feel isolated from the world. I'm attractive. I'm 6'4". I have good genetics. I have good features. I'm very confident in myself. Like, I've never in bad sex. Like, I'm a good dude. Like, and I still feel isolated from the world. And all this stuff makes sense. It's like, I don't have any friends. I don't go out. I don't have hobbies. I don't even have a car right now. It's like I feel isolated other than going to work and coming home. So it's like there's not much to me right now. That's why I look forward to the future, and it's hard to live for right now because it's like right now just sucks.
Oh yeah, I hear you on that. I'm not even arguing with that. It's like sometimes it does get really because like sometimes I think about it too when I'm finally like trying to rest my eyes and go to sleep for the night, and it's like, man, this is crazy. Like, where's the world going to? Because I remember, yeah, you might have been isolated a little bit, but it never was that bad. And like today, it's like some of these guys, like I'm hearing, it's like, well, all I could say is like it's just horrific, and all I could say is like I know it sounds cliche, but it will get better. But you just have to overcome the feeling it is right now, because I had the same feelings, Cody, and all of you guys. I had the same feelings when I was 20. Like I'm not the best. I'm a pretty average or below average looking guy, but you reach a point where it's like, hey, you get more confident because you built more accomplishments, and life generally gets better as you get older for guys. I can't tell you for women. All I can tell you is that the women in my family, my aunts, my mom, my grandmothers, their lives are great, but they had families. They didn't subscribe to that crazy bull crap. Yeah, they went to work, they earned their money, they did all that, but they didn't subscribe to a lot of the shenanigans that they're subscribing to now. Goddamn fly. There's just one fly in this damn office. Um, but my final thoughts on all this is just be wary because you guys are at a crucial time where a lot of changes are going to happen in the markets and in society in general, and it's going to drastically pivot us into another direction. So you just want to be very alert and careful as to where we're going, because you don't want to, like, investing in consumer based products is probably not going to be what's going to sustain the economy in the future. It's probably going to go back to manufacturing, spacefaring, and things like that. So just be alert, and also shout out to Crypto Dream. I still have bad days. Yeah, we all have bad days. We all have bad days. Although I have to say, after, when I was younger, rejection really hurt from women. But now, what hurts more is when I lose a lot of money on my portfolio, or I lose like a 7-figure contract. That hurts. That hurts me way more than than some woman saying, "Oh, I don't like you." Oh, I don't fucking care. It's like I'm more pissed off that this $8 million contract fell through. I'm furious. you know like that's where I'm at, like, and everybody gets there eventually. You just like, whatever, go. I don't even care about you. It's like, but now I see that mentality is starting to get seep into younger and younger. So it's anything traditional, like I even think Walmart, Apple, and like all the big companies right now are going to flip. I wouldn't be surprised if, because a lot of guys don't care about what phone they have, women generally care about the things they have. And outside a nice home and a fast car, most guys really just don't care. They'll spend the money on gym equipment and stuff like that. Whereas, you know, I do like I think Walmart's going to suffer outside of its necessity division, because the toy division of their company has been declining for years. So eventually, the whole bubble's going to pop, and I just have a funny feeling that we're kind of coming to the end of that. So my final thoughts is on this stream is like, just be careful out there. Crypto markets are going down, stock market's still staying steady. Just dollar cost average in where it makes sense. Make sure you guys do your own research, and excuse me, never invest more than you're willing to lose, and definitely don't moonshot your life savings on ridiculous investments. But that said, guys, I'm gonna call it a day. I gotta get back to work here. Thank you all for staying in. Much quieter without the TikTok crowd. We'll have to see how things go. We are up to 240 subscribers on YouTube, so if you can just keep hitting that subscribe button and that like button, really helps us out, because we're going to be doing this as much as we can. And Cody and I just love talking about this stuff. And we'll be back on later today for Money Mondays for a fun topic. So definitely look forward to seeing you guys again in the afternoon. So have a great day. You guys chase that bag, and look forward to seeing you later tonight. Thanks for all your support.